a couple I have known for a really long time and admired, and just found out that they have been married for, well, together for 35 years. You all will tell me, or is it 37? Dan Olds and Jarrin Davis, are you there?
We are here.
Yes, yes, yes. So is it married for 35 years or known each other for 35 years?
We've been together for 37. We've been legally married since 2015, I guess. Whenever it became legal, we
Yeah.
were like right in the front of the line. So yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. Congratulations. I have we've been friends throughout, and I've really
Mhm.
admired, your relationship. You started with us here in DC. I know you all moved to Chicago, and now you're back in the area in Baltimore. I mean, tell us a little bit about how, you all, when you all first met, and what your first impression was, if you can recall. And those stories never match. I understand. Everybody's got their version of the story. So, whoever wants to start.
Well, I'll start, and I'll do this kind of quickly. The Sunday morning that we met, I was working at Windows on the World, and I decided enough of food service. I'm done. So it was brunch, and I quit that morning and thought, I need something new. I got to change this. So I quit. I left. They all came running, Jarrin, please don't go. And I love that part. But I decided to go to Burger King across the street to have a breakfast sandwich. And guess who was sitting in Burger King that morning?
No idea why I was on Wall Street, since I lived on East 83rd Street, but this was in New York City anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we just struck up a conversation, and we started talking about theater, and we started talking about the arts, and I don't know.
And that's what did it. We started talking about theater and was like, oh, you know theater? Oh, yeah. And that just has never stopped. But that was the beginning of it all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the first date, do you remember? Well, that was the first date, sort of.
No, that was the first date.
At Burger King.
Technically, it wasn't the first date,
No,
but
that was the first date.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Yeah. Okay, the day
Yeah.
after.
But I
Sunday,
mean, that was
so Monday we had an actual let's meet for dinner kind of date. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. All right, all right. So, you all dated for a while, and then you have common interests. You know what I'm saying? And talk
Yeah.
about that, where you did find the connection. I mean, you talked about the arts and what have you, but how else did you find the connection?
Um. Oh gosh, I kind of feel like a sense of humor is like a really important aspect in any human being, in any relationship I have, no matter what. And he made me laugh, and God bless him, he would laugh at whatever stupid thing came out of my mouth too. So I thought, all right, this one's a keeper. So plus he was, let's face it, he's pretty cute. So that's also that. I mean, we can pretend that's not part of it, but that was part of it. For sure.
That was absolutely part of it. Yeah. For both of us, that was absolutely a big part of it.
I had hair.
Yeah, I remember.
Of course you do.
Yeah, you
And Dan, you said, as soon as you could, you did, right? I mean, the law had to play a role in this. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, how you may have, explored the idea, but how did it stand in the way of this decision, or open up the door for the decision? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I right before that, we had our 25th anniversary party in Chicago, and it was a fairly big deal because it was 25 years. So, and like that next March, the year after, I think, it became legal, and we were just like, we have this opportunity. We've gone through the whole thing where we each had lawyers draw up wills and all those sorts of things, but we also lived through a fairly large portion of the AIDS crisis where we saw plenty of our friends not be able to see their partner when they were in the hospital. So there's that whole legal angle that we lived through. So when we had something as solid and as hopefully will remain as solid and as permanent as marriage, we didn't hesitate. It wasn't even a question of if, was it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, we're doing this.
Wonderful.
And so weird. We were standing in the parking lot. We saw the marriage certificate that we got. Where they just did it. Hadn't gone to we went to Justice Peace. We were sitting out there. We actually looked at the license, and I swear to God, it was freezing cold in Skokie, Illinois, and I had little icicle tears running down my cheeks. So did he. He won't admit it, but he did.
Yeah, that's amazing. And one of the things about relationships or marriage, because sometimes we don't marry just our partner, but we marry our families, right? And so I mean, some of us are lucky when we have families that just say, "I'm gonna stay out your business," and others that are all into it. Uh,
Mhm.
but were your family members? How did they receive the news that you all had gotten married?
Well, we were both very lucky as far as that goes because his sister stood up for us, and my best friend stood up also for us. But our
Mhm,
families have always been really supportive of us, and
mhm,
that doesn't often happen, and it doesn't happen enough. But our families were, as soon as my mother and brothers and sisters met him, they loved him. And the
mhm.
same thing happened with his family. We were just very lucky that we never had conflicts with our families. So that's connected us also,
For sure.
you know,
Yeah,
pretty fast. So,
Yeah, my mom loved him, as you know. I mean, you met my mom a
oh, that's
number of
right.
times, and she just, yeah, just,
right.
and my dad too, for sure.
I know one of the hardest things in my marriage was when my husband went to tell my father that he was going to ask me to marry him, and my father took him in the basement, pulled out some whiskey, and said, "Let's talk." I was like, "Okay, trying to listen. What's happening down there?" But and that's an old fashioned kind of thing. But I think it still happens. Where someone gets married, you want your families to be a part of it, right? Because they will be a part of it either way. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what keeps the bond? I mean, what do we just talked to Marissa, who talked about how relationships. I mean, you all been together for a long time, 37 years,
we
right?
have, we
What
have.
causes it to what's the stickiness in the relationship?
Denise, I think the main thing was honesty and trust.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew that you had to be honest, and I am honest to a fault, and I really am. So I was honest from the very first second I met him, and there was never ever a question about that. And I'm not patting myself. That's just kind of the way that I am. So once he sort of trusted that I was that, and he opened up to become that as well, it's, I think, honesty is the most important thing in our relationship that has kept us together. um, then you add you add compromise to that, because you add listening to that. It just gets stronger and stronger. And now after 37 years, I'm so comfortable. I can't imagine a better life having gone through all of that. We are so connected. And so, we're like almost the same person in that
Yeah, in a
way.
lot of ways.
Yeah.
It seems to have gotten way easier. Let's just say that. I mean,
Definitely.
there was, but people have asked us that over the years too, and I've always said, you know what, I always wanted to be here more than I didn't. It was just, if there was a choice of like working this out or whatever it was, and then we worked together too, so there was also that dynamic which started, which was another whole.
Yeah,
Well,
that
I
wasn't
asked
easy.
about that because I mean, when you're together like that, sometimes
Hmm.
it's a lot.
Yeah, you have to learn to give up. You have to just, and I'm not a give up kind of person. I'm like, no, I can control all of this. And he's like,
Yeah.
no. And I'm like, okay, fine, you're right. I mean, this can't. And you just, I get, I mean, you've been married 41 years. You certainly understand the whole compromise. And I mean, and it really is that. But I just never wanted to be out of this more than I wanted to be in it. It was never really ever a question for me, which just sounds kind of weird, but yeah, that's really the truth. I just never wanted to be anywhere else.
So, if you could give advice to any couple,
Mm.
a gay couple or a straight couple, either way, if there's different advice for different ones or one or advice for all of them, what would that be? And particularly, let's do it this way: the new relationship starting out, what advice would you give? And then one that's been, that's trying to keep the fires going. What would you recommend, or what advice would you offer?
Dag, Denise, you just, I don't know. Humor.
But
Just
then I would
laugh.
really say, you might say a nice bottle of wine and let's just, drink and talk about it. But anyway, go ahead.
That has solved one or two problems. You know what? Just figure out a way to laugh it off, or I don't know, humor. He makes me laugh. I make you laugh.
Yeah, of course you
All
make
right,
me
I'm
laugh.
just
Of course
you know share the love a little bit.
You're making me laugh, so that's
I'm interested in what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm just thinking a new young couple, what would I tell them? I would probably tell them to listen a lot. I would tell them to kind of listen so they can sort of see who this person is and kind of what makes them tick. And I think another thing in the beginning is to look at the spirituality of the partner. It doesn't have to match up with yours, but I think really there has to be some sort of that. And I think, I don't know, I get really heavy and I get probably too heavy, but I just think to, and also in the beginning to sort of have fun and learn that it's a long process and it gets better and better if you just trust it. And if you're open with the partner, it just gets better and easier and more connected. And there's nothing more wonderful than having a partner that you trust with your life to go through this mess of a life with. I think.
wow,
I'm
wow.
cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that too. I really.
Good,
So,
thank you.
how are you all going to celebrate Valentine's Day? You got any plans?
Oh,
Oh gosh, no. You know what? This is so bad. This is so bad. We are not the poster children when it comes for holidays, birthdays, all that stuff. You know, we've been doing this for at least a couple of decades. Wouldn't you say? We do wishes. We don't give each other presents. We don't give each other, I mean, sometimes cards and stuff, but it's almost always, okay, it's your birthday, so you get 3 wishes. So whatever they are, you know what I mean?
but
So
that's
we've been
because
sort of been doing that for a
that's
long time.
because in the early years we always get presents and that kind of thing, and then
Right.
it became so many years we didn't know what to give. So yeah,
Or what do you
that's why.
want? Oh, I was going to get that for your birthday and you got it yesterday. I mean, what is this Amazon package that I was going to get for you for your? It's like, okay. So we thought, all right, we have to come up with a different plan of attack. So
So
honestly, that's,
wishes. I like
yeah,
that.
wishes.
Yeah. Okay.
Make a wish
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
and we'll do it.
So,
Yeah, that,
if you don't mind sharing, Dan, do you have a wish?
Um, oh crap. I don't know. We were in New York, and like, oh, I do have a wish. He wrote a play. They had a producer's reading of it last weekend or the weekend before. So my wish is that the producers say yes, this is going to off Broadway. That is my wish beyond wish.
Okay,
Honestly.
you have other wishers along with you now, so we're going to share that wish. Jaren, what about yours? You say
well, my
one.
wish is that he's an incredible artist. I mean, just incredible. If you haven't seen his stuff, and he's been working really hard to like get it out, and it's good enough to get it out. So I wish and hope that that actually happens for him. So
That's amazing, and those are wishes for each other, and not wishes necessarily for yourself. So
Yeah, isn't that cool the way that worked
that's
out? That
true.
it
was
really did. You did it.
exactly.
So,
That was really good.
anything you want to share, or last minute something that you think folks need to know that we didn't talk about with regards to relationships.
I was very heavy in what I said. So
I know.
what do you think?
I'm for relationships. I really am. I think that they are spectacular for humans in all kinds of ways. And just, if the other person's right for you, then just fight for it no matter what. And if they're not, then be brave and let it go.
Wow. Okay, that's deep. Thank you, Dan. Good advice.
At least one
Thank
thing
you
is
all
quotable.
both for being with us today and sharing so much. I hope that you do have a happy Valentine's Day, and because we got to go back to work next week. So anyway,
Right.
thanks
Well,
again with us.
thank you for having us. So thank you
This
for having
is-
us, and happy Valentine's Day to you. And my
Yeah,
friends.
this has been great. Thank you for doing this with us. We
All
appreciate
right.
it.
All right. Talk soon. Thank you.
All
Talk
right.
soon. Bye.
Bye.